What better way to celebrate the release of It Chapter 2 than them coming out with a new pop? Let me add you to the pyramid, brother. Pennywise, if you make another pop, I don't think my pyramid could handle it. It Chapter 2 has finally scared its way into theaters. A lot of you guys are going to be watching it right now or sometime this weekend. And with a 3-hour-long movie that has a lot of lore riched in, there are bound to be things you have missed. So what I'm going to be doing here for you is just breaking down those things you might have missed, some Easter eggs that they've pulled from the old mini-series and the book. But I'm pretty sure there's tons of stuff I missed, so be sure to let me know down below what you guys caught that I didn't. We'll still be doing a live streams full spoiler talk this Saturday, September 7th. At 6 p.m. Be sure to be subscribed for that because there's plenty of Pennywise giveaways to still do, which reminds me, these are the winners from the last video of my spoiler-free review of It Chapter 2. The remaining hats sent over from Warner Brothers will be given away in this video. If you want your chance to win one of these hats, 3 people at random will be chosen. Just make sure you're subscribed, leave a like, and comment down below. But enough yapping, let's go straight into these Easter eggs or things you might have missed in no particular order. One of the first cool things was one of the original Losers Club members from the old 1990 miniseries who played Ben, Brandon Crane to be exact, makes a cameo appearance early on in the film, and I think that's really cool to have included one of the members in the movie. This is something that was honestly just discovered this morning because he gave an interview saying, hey, I'm in the movie. So for all we know, there still could be tons of other Losers Club members hiding in the background, and that gives me a good excuse to go see this movie again. As we're getting to know what some of the Losers Club members are doing, we pan on Ben's character, and he happens to have a turtle statue right in front of him. If you're familiar and know the lore of Pennywise, you know his arch nemesis is a turtle from space. Yep, that's right. This turtle works in favor of the Losers Club members, watching over them, protecting them from Pennywise, which is also why it's no mistake that every single member of the Pennywise group ended up becoming successful. Bill making novels and adapting them into movies, Ben a great architect, Beverly Marsh, although in abusive relationships, still has a very successful clothing line, Richie a stand-up comedian, Eddie a successful risk analyst. The only one by comparison who does not have a successful life is Mike, and that is because he chooses to stay in Derry, where Pennywise sort of has full control of what goes on there. Speaking on Eddie's character, a funny little nod to his character trait. We all know how much of a mama's boy he was. He ends up marrying a woman almost exactly like his mother. In fact, very exact, because this is the same actress who portrayed Eddie's mom in It Chapter 1. With the short time Stanley Uris has on screen, he is working on a bird puzzle. This is a hint to the character in the book and also in the old miniseries. He is a fond lover of birds, having even his own scene where he's bird watching, and the puzzle is just to keep that character trait intact. We have, of course, in the opening of the movie, the Adrian Mellon scene is included from the book, almost exactly the way it goes down, even as far as getting the hat that says I love Derry, which one of my pops here is holding. Where are you? Real quick and off topic, this has become a controversial scene because Pennywise is attacking someone who has been the victim of abuse just for being who he is. A lot of people see that the wrong way because in all horror movies, it's usually the opposite. The one who is being the bully is the one who commits the sin, and by committing the sin, you get yourself killed off in horror movies. Going against that cliche and being its own, I think, is really cool for It Chapter 2 to do. And also just goes to the more ruthless factor of Pennywise, that he doesn't care if you're a victim, if you're the bully, if you're good, if you're bad. He just has to take care of some business, and he don't care what your personal life has to do with it. When Bill is on set of one of his books being turned into a movie, he meets Peter Donovich, who is also a real-life director, and Andy Muschietti happens to be a fan of his work, so he put him in the movie. And in this scene, we also get foreshadowing that is done to death in this movie, the hint that Bill's books always have a horrible ending because they tend to be sad, dreary, and more realistic instead of happy endings in which people like. This is definitely something Stephen King has gone through with almost all his books, being the #1 criticism is the ending of all his books seem to be flawed just because they go for a more dreary, horrific ending instead of trying to end on a more happier note. So when this movie eventually ends thinking it's going to do the same thing and actually flips the script, and to true Stephen King fans who are used to these dreary, sad endings, they hate that happy ending. Quickly rounding off some obvious ones, but still really cool that they were included. Of course, Tim Curry's Pennywise outfit can be seen in the Fun House. They're dressed almost exactly like the classic Pennywise. We have Henry Bowers shout the phrase, "Here's Johnny," which is of course a nod to Stephen King's The Shining. We have my absolute favorite line that I'm so happy was included because I clapped in theaters when it happened. Pennywise goes ahead and says to Ben, "Kiss me, fat boy." You frickin' did it, Andy Muschietti. You frickin' did it. Speaking of Andy Muschietti, he also makes a cameo appearance when Eddie is going to get his medicine. You can see him in the background looking at some prescriptions. Jumping off that to another creator, Stephen King, of course. Unless you are completely blind, you could not have missed him because he got plenty of screen time for a cameo. cameo as the owner of an antique store holding Bill's childhood bike in the window. When Bill rides off with his bike, he encounters again the little boy they met earlier in the Chinese restaurant before warning him to stay away from anything Pennywise related. If we look at the back of this kid's board, it has the exact same pattern as the carpet from The Shining. When we get flashbacks to the kids in their childhood home, Ben is the one who constructed this thing, hinting towards his architecture purpose in the future. Along with that, Stanley Urs's character decides to hand out some hairnets, saying none of us want to get spiders in our hairs as a foreshadowing to the big spider at the end of this movie. You can also see in the background a poster for the movie Lost Boys, which is a movie that deals with teens going against monsters, in that case vampires, which is very similar to the movie of It, where it's a bunch of kids going after a monster who has taken the shape of a vampire in the book. We have the scary doors returning up to scare Richie and Eddie one more time. Other than seeing the Pomeranian that was adorable, we also get to see the bottom half of someone's legs. If you go back to It Chapter 1, we see the top half of that person. So it's good to know after 27 years, we got the full body look of this individual. When Ben is having a flashback to Beverly Marsh, who is actually Pennywise in disguise, her hair turns fire, which again is just Pennywise making fun of Ben's poem, "Your hair is winter fire, January Ambrose." You know the rest of it. The ritual of Chud is also included as a huge part of this movie that is just tossed away and completely useless by the end of the movie, but nonetheless it was something fans have been wanting to see on the big screen, and well, they kinda did it. When Richie is in the arcade having a flashback to his younger years, you can see a poster on the wall has been ripped to leave the letters I and T spelling it. And diving more into the character of Richie, they finally do a lot more hints towards his sexuality that was left out in the old miniseries. That yeah, Richie was gay and he had a little thing for Eddie, which is always why he picked on him. I think the amount of that side of Richie put into the movie was done perfectly and just makes it all that more heartbreaking with the character who does pass away at the end of the movie. And the final thing that is again pretty obvious but still awesome, we got to see Pennywise in his spider form, and they even made it a Pennywise / spider hybrid. That was perfect, because if it was just a plain looking spider, I don't think that would have been as cool. So it was really nice to see them do that and take that from the book and also the miniseries. But these are just some things I caught, guys. If there's anything that you caught that I didn't, go ahead and let me know down below. Also, don't forget the live stream spoiler talk this Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Please be there, guys. Gonna be a lot of fun. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to win the 3 remaining hats and pops. Anything and everything, you guys go ahead and leave me your thoughts down below. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.